How does one look at the glass of life? In real estate, it can be half full with a sale to celebrate, or half empty, a tough market, or long or lost listing. But that's life, right? Or is it? You see, every once in a while, we get an obstacle that puts life into perspective.
I actually got admitted to the hospital because of an abdominal pain. I thought it was heartburn. I just came from Houston visiting my family.
Miguel is a very active person and super healthy. Jesse and Miguel are always on a diet, a strict, very fitness person. So you couldn't tell that somebody like that will get sick like that, right?
Miguel was sick enough with a low blood cell count. The hospital ordered tests, and doctors told him to digest a dramatic range of possibilities.
Doctor says it could be something as simple as you fighting a bacteria or getting a fever or a cold or a flu or cancer.
Miguel was facing the prospect of potentially not being here tomorrow. And I think when you're faced with that, you look at life very differently.
Miguel was confined to a hospital bed for weeks. He had time to think and time to make a choice. He banned the words cancer and chemo and decided to treat his hospital room not as a sick ward, but as a new base of operation.
I was being put to my medicine, aka chemo, and I was making phone calls, doing so, setting up the camera, the computer, in a way where you didn't realize that I was in hospital. I think I had a very clear vision. I could either spend my time crying about it and feeling sorry for myself or about myself, or I could choose just to go on with life, and that's what I chose.
But it was a back and forth battle. Running a high-level real estate business while undergoing intensive 24/7 treatment isn't without its extreme physical challenges. Miguel fought a compromised immune system, exhaustion, and even medical devices, and he still managed to keep it all in perspective.
I had to take a medicine called Blincyto. So Blincyto, it's a little machine like this size that it gets hooked into my fort. I used to have a force here in my chest, and you have to have it 24/7. I put it on a fanny pack, a fanny pack. And then the fanny pack, I tried to buy the smallest one I could find, and then I would put it backwards. I went to a listing presentation, and as I'm walking to the door to exit the house, he's behind me and the machine falls. And obviously the line from my chest get pulled, and you can see the little line all the way to the floor with the little machine. Thankfully it didn't break, it didn't make any sound. I'm like, oh shit. Here goes my listing appointment. This listing is lost. So I grabbed the machine. Oh, sorry about that. Have a good one. Bye. And I left. Thankfully, I got the listing and we got it sold.
Through it all, Miguel never let his standard of white glove service drop. He had the fierce backing of his team, his family, and colleagues who rallied to keep his spirits high.
In either there were some difficult days, I would go out on a walk and tears will come out, just out of nothing. I mean, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're all going to have those up and downs. But I would just clean them up and that's it. It was that little moment that I needed, and then move on.
You can't take someone's pain away. You can't carry their burden or their cross or their torch for them. So my style of receiving information like that is, what can I do to ensure he knows he's supported, loved more than anything? I would send him absolutely ridiculous memes because I just wanted to give him something to smile at the end of the day.
I pulled the reports at the end of the year, and when I saw his production, I was astonished to see how much of an increase in his business, and that was with him moving in silence.
In a year full of turmoil and treatment, Miguel's business was actually up 43%.
I always tell my son, I always try to keep that mindset of being the glass is always half full, never half empty. It could have been much worse.